Who was going to lead this discussion? Is that you, Doug? Thank you.
Several meetings ago, we talked about the Wasatch Open Lands Board, and this is a board that was discussed back in 2007, 2008, and the interlocal agreement was written up but never signed or consummated.
Executed.
So what we did is we took that original agreement and redlined it, myself and the attorney's office. But I think the bigger parts that the council needs to think about is the purpose and intent of the Wasatch Open Lands Board, and then the makeup of the Wasatch Open Lands Board. I know I made some changes from what the attorney's office sent back to me with the makeup of the board. Essentially, the intent of the Wasatch Open Lands Board is to have other municipalities, and the way it's written right now is Heber, Midway, a chamber representative, two members appointed by the council, and then 2 at-large citizen members. So you'd have a 7-member board that would talk about open space issues, open space funding, and make recommendations to the council. So this board wouldn't deal with any funds, they would just make recommendations to the county council.
So you're taking out, I'm looking at the document under the draft. Have you modified that draft, is what you're saying?
But the one you should have attached has, looks very...
You mean on the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't look at that. I got the one that we handed out a couple weeks ago. So I'll look at another one.
So the changes are a 7-member board, 2 board members appointed by the county council, 1 board member appointed by the Heber City Council, 1 board member appointed by the Midway City Council, 1 more board member, a representative from the Chamber of Commerce, and then 2 board members that are citizens at large, preferably with experience in open space preservation, real estate, or grant writing. So that makes up the 7-member board. And then therein, the intent of the board is to direct the preparation and review of comprehensive work plan approved by the county council that shall serve as a guide for open space preservation and development and prioritization of open space areas for purchase and preservation. Okay. And if we're heading down the right path, I'm happy to get you a cleaned up version and back on another agenda or whatever you'd like.
Is everybody, are you suggesting that the purpose of needs to be expanded if we're talking about the potential of administering some kind of funds or making other decisions?
No, I think the way that was originally written, it was that the board would deal more with funds, and we took that out and left the council with dealing with the funds and how they would be used. So this becomes a wholly recommending body.
I guess what I'm trying to understand, and maybe I just wasn't listening carefully, is this document kind of assumes it's the county's organization and these other folks on the board are participating or recommending, but it's the county who manages the money, if you will.
Yeah.
And is that part of the intent of what we've been talking about? I'm just not sure. That's my question.
I think it's our responsibility.
I think where we're talking about a bond, money-wise, it's the council's responsibility to control the funds. Now, this board could advise the council on how to use those funds, make recommendations. As soon as we start giving a board the power to spend funds in that, and we open up a whole new gamut of legal issues.
But I guess the bond either has to be a county bond or a city bond. It can't be some combination of those, right?
Yeah, and I guess that's what I understood you by saying they recommend back to this body who then decides whether if we make a decision to put it on a ballot or whether we say, no, the citizens need to bring that up forward.
I think we're looking,
is that correct?
if we get going down the road and go to the bond, we look for total failure. If we had the cities doing a bond, whereas the county tried to do a bond, it's like the savings benefit.
What did Midway do with theirs? It was on their agenda last
They,
week.
they kind of deferred and doing some research to see if they want to work with us or move on.
Sounds like that's how we're organizing here, aren't we? It's all the different groups, and they're not gonna make a decision on the money side of it, they're just gonna be recommending board and bring it back to the county. So, sounds like the way you got it, good. Glad you explained it.
And keep in mind that I've only put Heber and Midway in here because I wanted to keep it to a 7-member board instead of a 9 or 13 or whatever, and getting it too large, but, you know, not Walsburg either.
Well, Heber and Midway are probably the only two municipalities that has an issue with open space, any different than the counties.
Well, as we've done other at-large members, I know Mike, whenever we have other boards, tries to pick them from diverse, you know, as far as applications go, but he tries to pick from diverse areas so we have representation from different parts of the county.
Yeah.
And I think we can hopefully do the same thing with this, on those two at-large.
So does anybody have any issue with what Doug, I guess what I think I heard you suggest is that we might, or that what you may be able to do is clean that up, come back, and when we look to take action on creation of the board, on a future agenda. Does
I
that?
think maybe we ought to clean it up and then go to Heber City and Midway and see if they want to enter into this local, in a local agreement.
Did you go to Heber already?
I went to Heber probably 5 years ago.
Oh, I thought you went to one of their
I went to Midway.
So you don't think we'd want to come back and have, I guess my thought was if it came back here with a cleanup version, we'd say, okay, we want to do this, we vote on it, the majority of us say this is what we want to do going forward. Then they know where we are and we can then go to them. Or did you want to do that before we decide what we
Well,
want to
I
do?
think probably both, because we need them to buy in on this and become part of it.
They're going to pick a member of the board from there.
I'm good, you're assuming that we're all good and on board and want to go forward? Okay.
But if they're going to sign this agreement, they may or may not agree with everything in here. I don't know.
I thought we would approve this agreement and then go to them, but that was just my
I
assumption.
think we could approve the draft agreement and go to them and they may have some concern and issues we want to trade.
Yeah, if it's an interlocal agreement, there has to be buy-in from the three main bodies.
I mean, the fact that Midway is having a discussion about, I mean, the way it was on their agenda was an open space bond discussion, so. They would be-
Okay, so how do you want to go forward?
Doug's recommendation.
I'm good with that recommendation.
So I'll clean this up, I'll leave it as a draft. You guys can,
Get with the other folks?
Yeah.
So,
Why don't we do this? Why don't you clean it up? And before our next regular meeting, let's get with Heber City and the Midway and get on their agenda and discuss in detail with them.
And we can, at that point, give them the cleaned up version to look at.
Well, we give them the draft, same draft.
Yeah, it'll be the cleaned
Give
up.
them an opportunity to review it, and if they got any changes,
Question.
okay, so who's going to get with them? Is Doug just going to get them a version and
you know, why don't Mark and I get with Midway and the representative from Heber and Mike.
Probably be Danny and I or Mike and I.
Yeah.
Well, since you two are here, are you okay with?
What's the timeline on that? When would you think?
I would like to think we could do something before maybe the August meeting.
Maybe the first month, that gives us 30 days approximately.
We just want to get on their agenda, don't we?
Yeah.
When will they be meeting that week? That first week, don't they meet the first and third Thursdays?
I don't know. I can't keep track of these.
I think they do.
Are you meeting with Heber City together jointly in July anyway? About other things? About the the annexation and all that stuff?
Did we have another interlocal step?
I don't think we had one set, did we?
I thought,
We're meeting on July 20th.
Well, that was one specific.
We don't have a specific.
We're joining their meeting to talk about the 2020
Yeah,
Envision Utah,
we don't have
When are
another
they doing
local
that?
set, I don't think.
July 20th.
5 o'clock.
That was just a meeting we were gonna attend that was already
That'd
scheduled.
be the time when we'd be ready to do,
Well, they've already got a meeting that night, we're just sitting in, right?
Yeah.
but they could add us to the agenda. I would be there, but if they're ready, that'd be a logical time to get on their agenda, and then we'd be ready to do something in August.
Okay.
Mike, do you wanna, you and Danny wanna work on getting on the agenda for the 20th? I won't be there.
Oh, Kendall's out of town, that's right. So
And Mark and I will take care of Midway.
that sounds good. And then if we have any issues or we can't get it done, just let us know and we can move it. Yes,
Just a
sir.
question.
Would you state your name?
Ken Mickelson,
Okay.
Midway. I was under the impression that the priority was going to be on agricultural land. Is that correct? Or is it an open space program that could apply to any type of open space?
I don't know, that's been determined, has it?
Well, the priority would be conservation of the agricultural land, but it would recognize all open space as the need of each of the members. See?
Okay.
I think the discussion was, the original discussion a few weeks ago was centered around agricultural land and the preservation of agricultural land, but
Okay. All right, thank you.
we'll need to consider all open space.
Now, Ken worked up in Oregon on this same type of deal, right?
Yes, we passed the
Maybe
first
you
open
could-
space
Maybe you
bond
could
issue.
give us some idea of how that went.
It went very well because it was approved by 70% of the voters. But we went through a lengthy process to that happen.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about how you went ahead and explained it to the voters.
What we did is we created a open space map that was created by the community. Okay, through a variety of meetings that took maybe 2 to 3 months. It really was initiated from the citizens, ground up. The council and all that sort of stayed out of the background and let the citizens propose what was being done. So we developed this map and identified what specific properties would be included on the map. And with that map, we went to the voters, and the voters approved that map by over 70% of the vote as the official map. So anything on that map was important to purchase an open space.
Now, when was that vote? Was that last election?
Oh, no, that was in 1989.
Oh, it's been that long.
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah. So,
So how did they determine how much it would cost them, just based on their evaluation of their own property?
so no, what we did is we looked at a variety of different funding mechanisms that included bonding. But if you're familiar with Oregon, Oregon is one of the states that has no sales tax. But the community I was in, Ashland, Oregon, is a very popular tourist destination year-round because it has a major Oregon Shakespearean Festival, the largest festival in the nation there. Probably 500,000 visitors to the community. So what we did is we instituted a 5% food and beverage tax, the first sales tax in Oregon. So when you went to Ashland, you as a tourist, you would help pay for the open space as well as all the citizens that went out to pay for the space. So it was a combination of, it was important for the people that visited the community to protect open space because of a beautiful community, and it was important for the citizens. So it was a combination of both to do that. That allowed us, we estimated how much money we would have. It was voted in for, and then that went to the ballot, and that was approved by over 70% of the voters. Then we estimated how much money that would generate each year over a 15-year period. So we were able to accumulate a lot of money over that period of time to purchase the land. And then we had in our toolbox a variety of opportunities that we could go to landowners, such as tax-free interest on their money. If they donated a portion of their money, we could help them reduce their capital gains tax. It was just like a municipal bond. So with all those varieties, I can honestly say without hesitation, we never lost a piece of property that we went after, even to developers, because we were able to structure a very great financial package for the landlord. It wasn't just agricultural land, it was the community had a meeting and determined what the criteria would be. Fragile lands, sensitive lands, scenic views, and all those things. That was, we did that in 1989 and was just renewed again last year for another 15 years.
So it was not, but it was not a bond.
It was not a bond. But you can do the same thing with a bond, because a bond has a period of time, a dollar amount you want, and then you have the money available. But that's just one way to, but the whole success to any program, whether it be Boulder, Colorado, whether it be Jefferson County, East Bay Park and Rec District, is with citizen involvement. It came from the ground up. They made the determinations. It wasn't from the top down. And I think that is so important.
I agree.
I don't think the agricultural land thing is probably a big stumbling block, because there's not any open space in this county that's probably not used for agriculture right now, at least in the greenbelt.
Well,
It's either grazing or farming.
there's a lot of open that's federally owned that's not.
Well, that, I mean, that's private land.
60-70%, oh, private.
But what I envision, and this board would act to get the community involvement and set up the meetings and go to the public.
Yes, that's what you, I think that'd be a very appropriate step to do, is to get a group of really active citizens involved and let them lead the process.
I agree.
Because that's who you need to vote for.
Well, they're gonna be paying the bill.
Well,
And they're
that's
going to
what
pay
pays
the bill. And so if
We're
you
gonna
get
ask
their
people to get in
buy-in,
their pocket and pay for open space, they need to be the ones that bring it
yeah,
back.
if you get their buy-in and their support, it makes it a lot easier. And they did all the campaigning. I mean, they went out with their groups and campaigned and supported, raised money to campaign for it, so. But that's just an example of what can happen
Thank you.
with good citizen involvement.
Thank you.
On this board, maybe we have a slot available for a citizen to be on it too, like.
There's two.
Representative, okay, then let's have this gentleman be one of those. I nominated him to be the chairman over the
You wish you wouldn't have said anything.
Oh, I know,
No, I'm just
but
kidding.
it was my profession, so.
No, I think you're right, Mike, and I think it's critical that we had at least 2 members there. It wouldn't bother me if we had 0 members of the county council and all the members were not all, but.
Well, you gotta do, when you're looking at bonding, you gotta have some,
Well, it comes back here ultimately for a decision anyway, but.
You gotta have at least one, but we could change that to 1 instead of 2.
Yeah, maybe 1. I don't know, I agree with him.
Get
I
more
think it
thought
needs to be
thinking out there.
citizen. Yes, sir.
Well, I think it's also important that the city council members, everyone can come to all the public meetings and voice their opinion. You know, we had our council, park commission, all attend the meetings, just as citizens, to, speak up and let them know what they feel like. So it isn't you exclude the elected officials, but they're just part of a citizen process. It isn't controlled by the council or whatever it is.
That's a good point.
This document says that the board will come to the council with recommendations. It doesn't say how they come to that conclusion, but I think it would probably be good to add in here that there needs to be some type of grassroots, bottom-up type citizenship involvement. It's not mentioned at all in here.
When we voted,
well, it was originally, because that's where the advisory board, we had a second advisory board to this board, made up of realtors and businesses.
Do you want me to add that in here?
That was the original concept, is that they did be the organizing force to go out and get these other people involved.
when we voted, I was gone, I was out of town. My understanding was we voted to explore and see what it would take to do this. We did not vote to put this on, to have the council move this forward. Is that correct, or am I don't know.
Bond?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Juan.
investigate.
We were investigating and look at the viability of it.
Okay.
And come back with recommendations for either 2017 or 2018.
Put it on the next available,
Because I like the idea of the citizens bringing it forward like they do, like they have done on some other things, rather than us putting it on the ballot. I would rather see citizens, like what's been suggested. Just me personally. Okay, any other comments, questions on this? So we're going to come back with that.
On the 12th? Is that where you want it?
Well, you know what? I don't think it's a mad rush, but I think the sooner the better. So as soon as you can get it.
And would you like me to add language about the citizen involvement,
I think that would be important.
We need that cleaned
Unless there's
up.
someone who has issues with that.
We need that cleaned up draft by the 20th, so that when we go to that Heber City meeting, to meet with them and present the idea.
Well, if you want me to put that on for the 12th, I'm happy to do
Board
that.
meeting to review, and
Yeah.
then they can take it from between the 12th and then.
And I'll keep it as a draft, I'll keep the draft language on there.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, next item.